Hi, Adrienne does body language here, and just thought I'd have a quick live for the next 20 minutes or so. And if you want to ask me any questions about body language, anything that you want to know, it's now is your time to get my instant feedback. It's an interesting subject, it's one I like talking about a lot. Hi, Laura, some people are joining us now. Any questions you've got about body language, I'm happy to answer them. It's a topic that a lot of people seem to be interested in. My speciality is actually facial expressions. So although I'm an expert in all body language, all parts of the body, I have specialised in understanding the face and the muscle movements of the face to really connect with other people, understand how they really feel. You know, how many times have you said to someone, "Oh, how are you feeling today?" And they've said, yeah, I'm fine. But their face doesn't look fine. Did you see what I did with my face there? You know, I'm really not fine when I pull that face. So by understanding what other people are showing you, not what they say, you'll gain a lot more information. So this is one I'm asked every single time I go live, Chris, is what about people who are lying? So there is no one facial expression of lying. There is a clue that I do tell people to look for when you're trying to spot if someone's not telling you the entire truth. And facial expressions, when someone does that, when they've just said something, it's not a sign of lying, but it tells you they don't like what they've just said. So if they are generally a truthful person, you might see that when they're saying something they don't fully believe in. So it's not a sign of lying, but it's the closest you'll get to facial expressions that will give you an indication that something's going on. Is it true that when people look to right, they are lying and left telling the truth? I can't find any scientific evidence in that. It's a principle that comes from NLP. A lot of people ask me about that all the time. You know, is that the truth for left and right-handed people? No, there is no science that backs that up. What does happen is when people are looking for information and they go to different parts of their head, what you want to look for if you want to see if someone's lying is changes in their normal behaviour. Most people that are genuinely honest, their behaviour will change when they're not telling you the truth. So it's those clues that you need to look for. A person who's very good at lying will often believe their own lies and is really hard to spot. Hello, Mwes. The eyes, what do they tell? Well, it's said that the eyes are the windows to a person's soul, and I totally believe that. You know, you can tell by someone's eyes what's going on for them. You know, are they bright? Are they shiny? Do they look lifeless? Do they look dull? Really pay attention to the eyes, because it can tell you a lot, and you'll get a feeling when you look into somebody else's eyes, and that will tell you a lot as well, because our gut instincts are very, very strong. We just don't always listen to them. Hope that helps. What does it mean when someone is telling me something really important to them but looking away? It could be there's a few things that could be going on there. It could be that they are worried about your reaction, so they're disassociating themselves from what they're saying a little bit in case your reaction isn't good because it's really important to them. It could be that they're shy, they're nervous, they have low self-esteem, so are scared to be putting themselves out there. There's a few things that it could be, but it is generally, you know, we build trust with people that when they look at us and we create eye contact, you know, as I'm looking into this screen now, I'm looking at myself obviously, but I know there's people out there watching. So when people look away, if I looked away and talked over there, you'd feel that breaking connection. Even though I can't see you, I am connecting with you. But if I look away and talk over that way, we've lost that connection. And it puts doubt in your mind. So, hope that helpful, Ra. Eye contact is important, absolutely. You know, I've just explained that, how I feel about eye contact. It's one of the most important things to do if you want to create a good connection with someone. I read some research once that if you stare into someone's eyes, I can't remember the time, but it was like a couple of minutes, you'll create an instant connection. So don't do this to someone who isn't already your partner, because you're creating too much of a connection. Babe Reezer says, could it be they're lying or thinking of a certain memory? I would say, I think it's more like they're thinking of a certain memory. They're thinking or accessing different information. I don't think eyes are ever, looking left to right, are ever a sign of lying. There's just no evidence to back that up. Thank you, Ra. Connection. When you meet someone for the first time, why do they either connect or you just want to walk away? Who knows? Chemistry. There's lots of different things going on. Gut instinct. Sometimes we make an instant connection with people and it can be for no definable reason whatsoever. I've recently connected with a lady that I've met a few times on Zoom, and we've actually met for the first time in real life a few weeks ago. And actually on Zoom, I liked her, we got on okay, but in real life, I really liked her, and we didn't have a mega conversation. It was just a short conversation over a glass of wine. And just being in someone's presence sometimes can just give you everything more about whether you like them or not. So, if you are dating and you're still online dating, maybe try and meet them, because you'll instantly know whether you've really got a genuine connection or not. Hope that helps. Pillow Talk says, hey, I love your vids. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. I like making them. They're quite easy to make, and my head is just full of all this stuff all the time. And so I like to share it when I can. So what does putting hands over the crotch area in a photo mean? It's always a self-protection gesture when someone does that. So they're hiding a vulnerable part of themselves. That's what it generally means. Remember, context is king with everything to do with body language. I'm not going to go live. Remember, context is king. Whatever the situation in, there's sometimes like the question you've just asked there, hands over the crotch area, that is generally a sign of self-protection for a vulnerable area. But for other things like arms crossing, people ask me about arms crossing all the time. Is that a sign of defensiveness? No, sometimes it's really just comfortable to sit like that. So remember, context is king. Is the person uncomfortable, so they comfort themselves, or are they defensive? Check the context. Any other questions about body language? Anything you'd like to know, just drop them in the comments and I'll answer any questions you've got. As you say, I like talking about body language. I like talking about facial expressions. Interestingly, I used to talk just about facial expressions, and I didn't really touch on body language as a whole, but it's actually body language that people want. So that's why for me, it's about when someone changes their normal behaviour to something different. That doesn't mean they're definitely having an affair, but it means that something is changing for them internally. So watch out for that. When they become secretive with their phone, when they become secretive with who they're meeting, or the best way to tell if someone's having an affair, what does your gut tell you? Trust your gut. People just don't trust their own natural instincts anymore enough. So watch out for that. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining me. Putting hands on hips. I've done a video on this, a TikTok on this. For women, it's very much a dominant and self-empowerment pose. Interestingly, men don't like it that much, but that's not a reason for you to stop doing it. But it can be quite dominant. For some men, don't like it. When men do it, it's not seen the same as dominant. It's just like a ready pose. I'm ready for action. Hope that helps. Hands in trouser pockets, thumb position, ... So hands in trouser pockets. People who hide their hands are often seen as less trustworthy. But that's not in every case. Some of my professional pictures, I've got hands in pockets, and it's to show that I'm in a casual and relaxed pose. So I would just say, be careful if you are putting your hands in your trouser pockets. Think of the context you're doing it in. Do you want to build up trust with your audience or with the people in front of you or in a meeting? Don't put your hands in your pockets unless you know the people really, really well. If you know them really well, it makes no difference and you'll just look casual and relaxed. If you don't know them very well, don't put your hands in your pockets. My missus calls me piranha face. That's a bit cruel. It's a bit mean. I'm just reading some more comments. I'm always shy to look straight into the eyes. So I would say, Moody, build up your self-esteem. What is it that makes you shy to look in other people's eyes? It's the way we build trust. It's the way we build connections with other people. So have a go at doing that if you can. If I stay still throughout my uni class, does that mean I appear as confident? Well, the more still you are, the more confident you will appear. Remember to keep your chin level, no fidgeting, no messing about. You will look more confident, yes, absolutely. And you'll look like you're paying attention. How can you tell an aggressive male? Lots of different ways. So aggressive males will often have ridges above the eyebrows, and they can have those creases there as well. And I don't mean just as I went into it, they're permanently there. And because this is a sign of anger and aggression or confusion or concentrating. But for men that have got that permanently and the bulges above the eyes, they can look very aggressive, and look for fists, lots of fist movements, lots of fisting gestures. That tells you that there's pent-up aggression. Hi, what's that mean, crossed arms? So could just be comfortable, it could be defensive, it could be a self-comforting behaviour. There's lots of different things. It will depend on the context. If you look at someone's face, can you have an idea what character are? Yes, I absolutely can. So I studied in personology. So personology is the study of how people's personality is revealed through their face. So I did a video on this, and I will do more because I forgot to do more on this, but I will do more on this. So I did the one on the nose. So the bobble nose, I don't know if you can see my bobble nose there. That's the one that tells you that person's interested in other people. We call it the nose for news or nosiness. Eyelids. So you can see them a little bit, but they're not completely visible and they're not completely hidden. Someone whose eyelids and they're talking normally and you can't see any of this bit, they call it the acanthic fold. If you can't see any of this bit, they're a very normally analytical person. If you can see lots of this is the type of person you need to get straight to the point. You need to get on with it, give them all the big picture details. They don't want the nitty gritty like the person with the covered eye fold here. Have a look in the mirror, what's yours say, and then just see, drop me a message, does it match with your personality trait? So yeah, personology is a really interesting subject. I do a lot of training on that, and I also use it a lot in my own business to understand the type of person I'm interacting with and how to get the best out of that interaction with the clues that are given to me on the face. Now, I don't ever take it as rock solid. I use it as a clue and an indication of how to approach that person. But also remember that people have personal choice. They don't have to behave how you think they're going to behave. So I'm just looking for more questions. What about someone who rubs their thumbs together constantly? So like this, I've not really seen that an awful lot. But that, again, is probably a self-soothing behaviour or nervousness. When we've got nervous energy, we generally have to do something to get it out of our body, that nervous energy. So you're looking for things like this. I've not seen the thumbs rubbing together, so explain a bit more about that, Aggie, if you want to. How about an alpha male? They'll be very shoulders back, purposeful walk. Did you hear how my tone of voice actually went? Their tone of voice will actually go down quite a lot too. Upright, dominant tone of voice, dominant bearing. Yeah, interesting to watch and look out for. Thank you, Ragad. Thanks for loving the videos. Hooded eyes. Yeah, have a look at those eyes. Bay Breezer, don't dismiss it. What body language when we want to know if this person is into us? What are your tips? Look for open body language. So closed, probably not into you or need to be opened up a bit. But open body language, leaning forward, giving you great eye contact, smiles, lots of genuine smiles. They're the ones I'd look out for, Hilal. What if they always display signs of self-soothing? This could be the person does live with high anxiety. Have a look at their forehead. Aggie, I'm not sure how you say that. But if they've got lots of deep lines going that way across the forehead, that's a sign of nervousness and fear and anxiety. So look out for that. And lots of this. lip biting, anxiety, hands rubbing, self-soothing, those are. What about when someone stares all the time at you but away when you look back? It's an interesting one. It can be a flirting behaviour, that, and it can be that they're actually just checking you out and they're interested in you, but they don't want you to know that they're interested in you. I'm guessing because I don't know the context of that. Thanks for loving the videos. What about if someone twists their hair through the hands continuously? Again, it's a self-soothing or, so this, self-soothing or a flirtatious behaviour. It's one of the two. So depending on what context you see that, Ash, someone's flirting with you or they're self-soothing. And as people do also do when they're thinking. I used to do it a lot. I don't do it so much now, but I used to do it when I was thinking. And the faster it went, the more furiously I was thinking. So it could be an evaluation too. Whereas, yes, our faces will actually tell, if you know what to look for, will tell people how you've lived. You know, someone with lots of lines there, particularly as you get older, it's a sign that they've laughed a lot. Someone who's stressed will have those signs. Years ago, when I was general manager of a research company, quite a stressful job, and I had this permanent facial expression, and it didn't seem to go away. As my life has become a lot less stressful, and now I work for myself, those lines rarely show up. I can go to them very easily, but they're not deep grooves like they used to be. So our faces will change depending on what's going on in our life at a time. What about if a female twerks on you? I'd say it's a good sign personally. Where did you learn all of this? So I went to, I live in the UK, but I went to America to train in the facial action coding system. So that's a way of understanding the face. And for the body language stuff, I trained with Robert Phipps, who's in the top 10 of body language trainers. He's actually a good friend of mine now, and I've done all of his training over the last 15 years. What if a man holds the top of the door frame when talking to you, facing each other? Interesting, Kat. This is him making himself bigger, taking up all the space, so he really wants to be seen by you. Depending on the relationship between you and him, or if it is you, depending on the relationship, it could be that he's feeling quite dominant and wants to make sure that you know. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but he's definitely taking up the space, so being a bit alpha male-ish, I would say. Just checking. Where says the door has broken. Great. Hi from Kuwait. Hi, back to Kuwait. How accurate would you say that the feet pointing indicating interest is? Extremely accurate, Sophie. Every body language expert that I've ever known, I know quite a few, and I know really top level ones, they all say the feet are the most truthful part of the body. Wherever the feet are pointing is where the body wants to go. So if someone's feet are pointing towards you, they're interested, or they're happy to be there at that time interacting with you. So very accurate. What about when someone stares at your face and really stares, but you don't think it's attraction? It could just be that you've got a really interesting face, My Travels UK. You know, I look at people all the time, and it's not because I fancy everybody. I'm interested in their face and what I can see in their face. So don't take it as a negative thing. Don't take it necessarily as a positive thing. Maybe they're just interested. What body language books do you recommend? Okay, so anything by Joe Navarro, brilliant. He's got 3 or 4 really good books that he's written, and anything on YouTube by Joe Navarro is also really good. Robert Phipps book. Thank you for the book, Wes. The Robert Phipps book. I can't remember the title of it now, but it's well worth a read. You'll find that on Amazon. I've written a book about the face and facial expressions and a bit about personality, which is The Face Whisperer, which you'll also find on Amazon. Yeah, there's lots of different books about body language, but I would go to Joe Navarro and Robert Phipps first, because they're both really well trusted and really experienced in what they do. Just checking, what does a nervous side smile, also looking away and low, mean? So a side smile, do you mean this? A smile that only happens on one side of the face we call a half smile, or it's also known as contempt. I'm just going to see what that message says. I don't even know what that means. What does a nervous side looking away? And looking away and low. See, that half smile, if it is just one side of the face, is smugness, contempt, not ideal. It could be duper's delight, which again means I know something you don't know. So, and it could just be nerves. So you said, a nervous side smile. It could just be nerves. That smile with me biting my lips, or that's actually a fear smile. Just looking. Do you recommend Robert Greene? I've not heard of Robert Greene, but I will definitely have a look at him after this live is finished. Thank you. Like a good suggestion. Is he UK based? Is he America based? I will definitely check him out. Thank you. So I'll be finishing very shortly. So last chance to get any questions answered. A couple more minutes. Hi, how can you tell by body language that someone doesn't want to be there anymore? Any suggestions? Are you talking in a relationship, or are you talking a casual interaction or in a meeting? It depends on the context. If it is a relationship, you're going to see lots of signs. They're going to stay out longer than they need to be because they don't want to go home. They're going to be closed off when they are at home, perhaps going to another room, perhaps just closed body language in total, closed body language. I'm talking crossing legs, crossing arms, and that's not just because they're comfortable, it's because they're closed off. If you're talking about in a meeting, watch for where the feet are pointing towards the door. That means they want to be off. If it's a casual chat, again, I'd always look for the feet. Feet are going to tell you so much about where someone wants to be. So look for the feet. You said in a workplace, so hopefully that helps. I would also look for all the closed behaviours that I just said, closed arms, closed facial expressions. I would look for those kind of things. Do you believe in male to female friendships? Absolutely. I have loads of female friends. I've also got loads of male friends. And I'm also very happily married. So yes, I do believe in friendships. I do also know that it can go wrong when males and females, or females and females, and males can get too close and cross boundaries. So you just need to be careful on what works for your relationship. What are bad signs that somebody does romantically like you? I would always look for the facial expression of contempt in any relationship, whether they like or don't like you. If you're seeing high levels of that in any relationship, it is the person has no respect for either you or the situation or what's going on, and that's the time either to gain more respect and do something to build that up, or get out and leave. You are absolutely correct, R. Brigley. People who've had plastic surgery, Botox, fillers, makes it very hard for me to read their faces. Personally, I'm a big fan of leaving it natural, but I know some people do like to do it and gets a lot of benefit from it. Can I repeat the last one, please? I don't know what the last one was. Was it about contempt? Star. When I was talking about if you see that in any relationship, if you see any levels of contempt, either in a personal relationship or a business relationship, the respect has gone and it's time to get out. I always say to my clients, if you interview someone and you're seeing high levels of contempt in the interview, I wouldn't employ that person, because they're going to be a nightmare to manage, because they either think they're better than you or they think they're better than the role. Either way, they're going to be a pain in the backside. So, BPD a curse? Not necessarily, no. We're all different. We've all got our unique challenges and our unique opportunities. And it's all about how you perceive your BPD, whether it's a curse or whether it's an opportunity. So I'm going to end there. Last one, Theodora. What about a person showing interest only when drinks? Is he bored? Or... drink, I don't ever believe the line, drink made me do it, and I wouldn't have done it if I was sober. So maybe drink gives the person confidence to do what they'd like to do when they're sober. I asked my partner, what if they look natural, was first. If they look natural and they've said work done, it still makes it really hard for me to read their face, because the muscles are changed and it's just not as easy. It's not impossible, but it's just not as easy. I asked my partner if she's talking to anyone, but she started to laugh and got angry. So, did she get angry because she's outraged you asked the question and even thinking that, or did she get angry because she's being defensive? Only you can decide. I can't help you with that, sorry. And that's the end of today's live. I will hop on again tomorrow, UK time, in the afternoon at some point. And Insomniac, I've just got your question. What's the Pokertells? Where's the Pokertell talks? Oh, that's a good idea. I'll think about doing the Pokertell talks. Very good idea. But I'll see you all on the next live. Thanks for joining. I've enjoyed chatting with you. And thanks for your questions. It really helps me to talk more.